pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's back. Oh, it's back in the corner. I know where it's supposed to.
Flag.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a flag.
Look east.
Get your head.
We have a recap, but this time we do not have any issues to bring up under recap. At this time, is there any public comment on any item on the consent agenda? Not seeing any public comment on the consent agenda. We'll bring it back to the board. Are there any items that need to be pulled? None? None?
None.
No.
Entertain a motion.
I'll move.
We have a second?
Did you get a second?
I need a second.
Oh, I'll second.
Okay.
You're deep in thought there.
Checking me out, huh? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion of any of the items? Not hearing any discussion. All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Passed. Next, going on to the next item on the administrative agenda. That would be,
10.
go ahead, 10. 10.
Number 10.
Good afternoon, Brian McGonigal. Nice to see everybody. Number 10, it's a ground lease that we're proposing approval of. It's for the construction and operation of a fixed base operator with Signature Flight Aviation, Flight Support, LLC, actually. Little background here. If you recall, May last year, we issued an RFP for a fixed base operator. In September, we received two proposals, one from Atlantic and one from Signature. We had a staff evaluation committee. We went back to you in October last year. They proposed, both firms. You ranked them Signature 1, Atlantic 2. The board in November of 24 concurred, allowed us to go back into negotiations. Here we are today. We've been working hard on this lease. We now have a firm ground lease in front of you today. It's a 30-year lease with two 10-year options. The land site is 26 acres, pretty big site. Signature is committed to invest $27 million. What's important here is the fees that Signature will be paying us are the exact same fees that the current FBO pays. So it's the same per square foot. It's 57 cents a square foot. It's the same self-fueling farm and contract fuel charge, exactly the same. We also made the CPI increases in cadence, so they'll go together at the same time with both of them throughout the lease. And I did mention it's 30 plus 2 10s. I think I mentioned that. So happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any board members have any questions for Brian?
I do, please.
Go ahead.
If you don't mind. I just want to make sure that through the negotiations of the actual ground lease, which I understand, I want to make sure that we're still on track, that before we enter into this lease or recommend entering into it, that the improvements that tie back to the ground lease are in alignment and compliance with the RFP and the presentation that we heard.
Yes, ma'am, they are. In the RFP, the minimum improvement was 15 million and 10 acres. They are proposed to spend 27 million and 26 acres. So they exceeded the
They've gone
minimums.
above and beyond.
Yes.
Okay.
they
I
did.
did not have that paperwork in front of me. I
Yeah.
didn't remember the 27.
Yeah, but-
So that's good that it's above the
yes, ma'am.
original minimum. The other thing I'd really like to know is I noted that the specific mention was made in our green sheet that the rents and fees align with the current FBO. Are there any other FAA requirements that have to align? And if so, are we in compliance with everything that the FAA requires as per the other
So we did have a meeting with the FAA to make sure that our thoughts in this contract aligned with the grant assurances. They said we were aligned with that. Things were similar, especially when, as Brian mentioned, the square footage cost, the fuel flowage fees, and the improvements. So it has been vetted through the FAA, which got us to this point as well.
Very good, okay. And last question, just want to make sure, touch all bases and get it to record. Do you find that both ground leases are equitable in parity to each other?
Yes, the fee structure is equitable. It's the same.
No
If that was your
requirements,
question.
no requirements of this company that the other company didn't have, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Very good. And no one has more exclusivity rights than the other has.
No,
It's
ma'am.
all in parity there.
Correct.
Wonderful. Just wanted to make sure on that.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I think you covered most of the things I want. I think that what's important is that a lot of the compliance, as you mentioned, ties back to grants. And grants is critical, to where we're going forward. So that would be my only concern, that those compliance issues are in fact aligned, so grants stay in place.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Important. Good. Thank you, Chairman.
No, I'm good. So essentially, I think what I hear you saying, Brian, is you're saying that, we have a consistent policy in terms of what ground, rate for our leases are, and you're, being fair with,
Yeah.
with all parties that want to have an operation on the airport, they would pay the same amount.
Yeah, yes, sir. And we do have the land available to allow a second FBO here. That's why we proceeded forward.
Do we have the services available to serve that site?
Yes, we do. And it's there. It's on them to build it out, signature, and they're ready to do that.
And in their plans, do they have adequate retention area for any of the waste that comes off of the airplane?
That will all be part of the permitting permitting process that they're going to go through. So
Okay,
they'll get the appropriate permits for that,
okay, thank
I kind of got a
and
question.
we can assist with them.
Go ahead.
Okay, the one thing I also noted and would like to make clarity on is this property, all the improvements, this 27 million that's being done, at the end of the term, which the term is 30 years, it all reverts to the LCPA automatically. Title does.
Yes, ma'am, it does. And
And is that the same in
Well,
the
they have
other
two
at the end
extensions,
of the
I
term?
think, too.
Well,
Yeah.
but the term is actual 30 years, and they could exercise their option. But would that reversion take place at 30 years?
if they did not extend, yes, it would.
you. They have renewal clauses,
And the other FBO has a renewal, same clause. It reverts back at the end of their lease.
So they could exercise their option though, and the property still stays the way it is?
Yes.
It does not?
It would just revert later to us. With the same clause. Yep.
Any further questions?
Yeah, right here.
Go ahead.
When do you think this would be operational? What kind of timeline they got?
We do have some members of Signature here today. I mean, at least 2 years, 3 years. 2? I like 2. He says 2. Yep.
Love it.
Okay, if there's not any additional questions, call for a motion.
Based on the answers, basically, that the equity is there between them and any other FBOs that there may exist, I would move forward with it. Move the motion.
We have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, at this time, we'll call for public discussion. And I have a card here from, Paul Fenicides.
Committee members, hello. My name is Paul Thanasidis. I represent Private Sky. That's the existing FBO. Been on the premises since 2000, been your partner for 25 years. The information that you have been given here about the equanimity of the two leases is inaccurate. Now, do you take my word for it? You don't have to. We have an arbitration that's set between the Port Authority and Private Sky in October. There's an independent person, a gentleman by the name of Roy Cobert, an attorney in Orlando, that we've selected between the two of us. You've already paid him. You've already agreed to pay him. He's going to give you an independent opinion as to whether the representations that have been made to you here today are in fact true. Now, I believe they're not true. What they haven't told you, and you just asked about the reversionary interest. The property that Private Sky built out reverts back to the Port Authority before the end of the lease for Private Sky, and Private Sky has to rent it back. That's not in the signature lease. There are 10 examples of competitive advantages that Signature has been given in its proposed lease. I don't have time to go through it. I only have 3 minutes. I can't go through all of them with you today. But the point is, there's no reason to jump the gun. We've got an arbitration in October that's going to tell us whether, in fact, these two leases are fair, whether you're at risk of violating the FAA grant assurances on economic non-discrimination. Why not take the advantage of having an independent person tell us whether, in fact, these representations are accurate? That's what boards generally do. They rely on an independent professional opinion. And that's what we're asking. Give us the opportunity to have an independent, we're already paying for it, it's already happening. Have that independent arbitrator tell us whether in fact these are fair, these two leases are fair with each other, whether the Signature lease gives Signature competitive advantages over your partner of 25 years. The alternative of jumping the gun is risk. And why take the risk? Why not just wait till October? The risk is if you sign the lease and it turns out that the representations here were wrong, that there were competitive advantages and are competitive advantages that are provided to Signature under that lease. The risk is that the Port Authority could be in breach of two leases at that point, the Private Sky lease and the Signature lease. You sign the Signature lease and then all of a sudden it turns out you can't comply with it because you're violating the FAA grant assurances. Then you're in breach of two leases. Why? Don't do it. Just get an independent opinion first. Thank you.
You represent them as an attorney?
I am their attorney, that's correct. Thank you.
Anyone else in public want to comment on the item? There's public comment here, right? No one else? Okay, Brian.
So if there's no other questions, we'll open it up for a motion.
We got voting on the floor, don't we?
They have a motion on the floor.
I'm sorry.
I'd like for our attorney to give us a little bit of advice here about what we just heard.
If I may?
Yes.
So he is right. We are set for arbitration at the end of October. That is related to a lawsuit related to the lease that we have with Private Sky. If we go forward on arbitration, by the time that we would see an actual ruling from an arbitrator would likely not be until the beginning of the year. So while yes, the arbitrator, that actual hearing will be at the end of October, he's asking you all essentially to wait another 5 or 6 months to make any move on it. And while he's asking you to go to an independent opinion, I've provided legal guidance to you all on this matter. We've actually sought legal guidance from the FAA, sat down with their team and talked about this potential issue because we already had the lawsuit pending, so we knew what we were in for. Additionally, one of the things that generally actually happens in these type of situations is that there is a complaint made with the FAA about this type of thing, and that is something that they chose not to do. They chose to go through state court instead, when in fact what they could have done is gone through the FAA and actually had the FAA rule itself. But they chose not to go that route. They're trying to go a different route. After reviewing everything, I know that the attorney said that there were things that are different. Ultimately, every deal is going to be a little bit different. In fact, in this deal, Signature is actually having to pay $2 million more than what Private Sky did to get the taxiway situation fixed, just because of the way that the site is, because the site is not as advantageous as the site that Private Sky had. While Signature asked for some rent credits related to that, it's not within the actual lease before you today. So, in fact, there is not any situation where it can be exactly the same, except for the things that we can control. And so what are those things that we can control? It can be the per square foot that we charge for the lease rent, and it can be the fuel flow charges. And as Brian talked about, both of those fees are the exact same. The CPI adjustments are on the same date. If there was another FBO that wanted to come on property, guess what would happen? They would be subject to the same rates as well. And as far as the investment into the property, Private Sky is not required to make a $27 million investment in the property, whereas this is what Signature is doing. And so again, going back to what the RFP required with the minimum standards, they've met those minimum standards. The minimum costs associated with it are the same. And so we see no issue going forward today on this. And what the speaker also failed to talk about was the flip side of not going forward, which is we could be sued by Signature for not going forward. The FAA is very clear that we cannot allow a monopoly to operate at the airport if we have the space available to allow a second FBO to operate. So we've put out the RFP. We've had bidders who met the minimum requirements. We selected one. We have a lease that's going to be in compliance. And so the reality is to meet the grant assurances is to allow a second FBO to operate here at RSW. And that's what you have in front of you today.
Okay, thank you very much for that. We'll bring it back to the board for discussion.
I'm saying, are you saying that if we didn't go ahead, we could be in violation of the grant assurances?
Yes, that's what I am saying.
But if we do go ahead, we're almost forced to go ahead, even though it's imminent as far as the timing is concerned. I mean, we've waited this amount of time. Do we want to not, we're on the front doorstep of this deal. Do we want to wait, or do we want to go ahead now?
Could you comment?
What direction the board goes as far as waiting or not, that's not my position to take for you. However, what I can say is that, yes, if Signature wanted to, they could probably just go to the FAA and make a complaint there, because we're not allowing them to come and operate here at the airport when we have the space available, and they have shown that they would meet the minimum requirements. And so that would be something quite easy for them to go forward and bring a complaint to the FAA, and then we would have to, go down that path there. And again, delaying it, I don't know what the delay actually gains for you all. And so I don't know what else to answer as far as that question goes.
Okay, thank you.
It's a board
Mr. Chairman.
Sorry.
The only open-ended question I have here is, did Private Sky sign a lease, a ground lease, that had the requirements in there that as to when they have to revert their property? Are there certain things they have to do before their term is up? That seems like the only difference. I mean, was things spelled out that this gentleman stated that they're having a problem with, that Signature doesn't have to do? Was it spelled out in the extension lease or the lease that they currently have and that they signed?
If I may, Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
I think a key difference in this case is also the fact that the Private Sky lease that we have today is not the original lease.
Okay.
What occurred is that Private Sky had a lease back in 2000. They eventually acquired another operator on site. They then came to the board and requested to merge those two leases into one, and that's when they negotiated the terms for that lease. And so the reality is that we have two very different leases based off of two different premises. The first one with Private Sky is they've taken a second FBO, they're trying to combine terms to get a new type of lease. Whereas Signature, it's a green space, or greenfield, and they're coming in new and putting in $27 million. And so for the, the term and the conditions as far as what putting in, of course, those are going to be different. You have two different situations. But the cost associated that we actually have control over, which is we're going to charge you the lease per square foot and the fuel flow, those are the same.
Sounds like then there's a significant difference of capital investment as to what Signature's making versus what Private Sky has made.
In totality, yes.
That was, in totality, that's a big difference of why there's no.
Yeah.
further.
They both have, like in this case of Signature, they have the minimum requirements. They are exceeding that.
Right.
I don't know, I don't want to give you a number. I know there is a number associated with time. They make certain, they being the current FBO makes certain improvements. Their time is extended. So it's not a dollar for dollar to what Mr. Holborn alluded to, but there are similarities in it. One is front loaded and one is over time. At any given point, the current FBO might choose, hypothetically, to not extend. Then it would revert. So there's various, I don't know if you want to call them characteristics or nuances of each contract. From that standpoint, they don't read verbatim, but they both are similar in interest to.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is I'm seeing it, just listening, I'm seeing it that Signature is stepping up and going, 12 million over and above, 27 million over versus their 15 million that was only required, knowing that they already have a competitor in place that's been doing good business for quite some time. And they're willing to take that 15 up to 27 to come here and make it a go of the business.
Yes, I mean, I think the easiest way to equate it is if you go across the airfield, you have, what are we at, 17 different airlines now, 15 different airlines. You have choices to get to any particular city, and it's up to the consumer to make that choice. It's not up to the airport. The airport is there to provide you access. Similarly with this, we've had one, as he alluded to, for 20 some odd years, and now there's interest from somebody else to come in and be competition. Per the grant assurances, as we've already stated, we have the space, we have the means, we have somebody or some, multiple companies that were willing to come in and provide that additional service to our market, which at the end of the day just bolsters the airport and bolsters the whole area of Lee County.
So essentially, both operators have the same competitive advantage, and it's up to the consumer at the end of the day which one they choose to do service with.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
I almost hate to say this, but we have representatives of Signature here. If they're willing to come and address this, I'd like to know, does it create a problem for them if we were to wait until the October, I guess it is, date? Or do they have things in motion that would create a problem for them? Have they spent money on this and so forth and so on?
I can answer that for them. It certainly will. 5 or 6 more months when they're at this point.
We're talking about 2 months, 2.5 months.
No, 2 months, and then the judge gives his opinion when he gets ready to, and then on and on and on.
We just heard from our attorney, we probably wouldn't expect a decision before the end of the year.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, okay, any further discussion? Not hearing any, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed unanimous.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda, number 11. Dave?
Good afternoon, Dave Amidor for the record. Item number 11 requests board approval for an amendment to increase our line of credit with Bank of America from $50 million to $100 million. We've had this line of credit with Bank of America since May 2020, and we've amended the agreement a couple times, and this will be the third amendment. Most recently, we came to the board in November 2024 to amend the revolving credit facility agreement to put an option to increase the maximum principal amount along with a few other changes that we made to the agreement. And we're now requesting that the board give approval to pull the trigger on increasing the amount from $50 million to $100 million. This will provide us the flexibility to interim finance some of our capital improvement projects that we have going on in our program over the next couple of years. And the primary use in the short term will be to fund the terminal expansion phase 1 project prior to heading to the bond market in early 2026. Any questions on the item?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is this 50 million to 100 million, is that to facilitate the building of the terminal or the Concourse E, or just operating funds?
Primarily in the short term, we would use it to draw down and keep our cash balances level, and we would pay off invoices related to terminal expansion phase 1 until we go to the bond market and raise additional capital. So primarily towards terminal expansion
How
phase
about
1.
we went to the bond market and got 528 million?
That was for Concourse E. We were previously in the bond market in 2021. We've expended most of those funds, and we have to hold back a little bit of money for retainage already that we've incurred. And but for all intents and purposes, we've spent the majority of those funds. So what we would do is we'd use that line of credit to bridge the gap, get to the bond market, raise the additional funds, and then we finish out the project.
And where will we get the 100 million to pay it back?
From the bonds that we'll issue.
When we sell the bonds?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Any further questions?
Move we approve item number 11.
We have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion from anyone in the public on this item? Not hearing any discussion, we close the public comment section and bring it back to the board. Any further discussion from the board? Not hearing any, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Motion carried unanimous. Item number 12.
Good afternoon, Steve Roque for the record. Item number 12, this authorizes the piggyback of a Collier County contract to purchase Ford fleet vehicles and associated aftermarket or options from Sam Galloway Ford. Piggybacking this competitively awarded contract provides the airport approximately 3.4% discount off the dealer invoice price and no dealer markup on associated equipment and options. This approach avoids the cost and time of separate procurement, secures favorable pricing, supports local vendor participation, and ensures predictable costs for long-term fleet replacement planning. The contract has an initial 3-year term with 3 one-year renewals, with anticipated expenditures exceeding $1 million over the life of the agreement. Funding is available through the airport operating funds. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on this item?
I just have a comment. I'm glad to see this is Sam Galloway Ford, which is a business, long-established business in Lee County versus before we were buying them from Jacksonville and other places. At least we're keeping some money in the community.
That's a good.
Happy to see it. Good job.
Yep. Any further comments or questions at this time? Okay. Does anyone from the public wish to comment on this? Well, first we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We got a motion to approve. Do we have a second? We have a second. Anyone from the public wish to comment on this item? Not seeing any public comment. Public comment section closed. Bring it back to the board. All in favor of the item?
Aye.
Aye.
Item passed unanimously. Number 13.
Item number 13, this item authorizes the piggyback of a Sourcewell contract to purchase non-Ford fleet vehicles and associated aftermarket equipment or options through National Auto Fleet Group. Piggybacking this competitively awarded contract provides access to 15 different vehicle manufacturers with discounts ranging from a little over 1% to a little over 38.5% off MSRP. This approach secures favorable pricing across a wide range of vehicles, avoids the cost and time of separate procurement, and provides the flexibility to meet diverse operational needs as part of the airport's long-term fleet replacement plan. The contract in its initial 3-year term with 3 one-year renewals with anticipated expenditures exceeding $1 million over the life of the agreement. Funding is available through the airport operating funds. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? Call for a motion.
So moved.
We got a motion, we have a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any public comment on this item? Not seeing any public comment, we'll bring it back to the board for a vote. All in favor of the item? Aye. Passed unanimously. Next item, 14.
Item number 14, this item awards the purchase and delivery of 2 Class 5 ARF crash trucks to the lowest responsive and responsible bidders, Rosenbauer, Minnesota LLC for the non-high-ret vehicle and Pierce Manufacturing Incorporated for the high-ret vehicle. A high-reach extendable turret, which is a high-ret, is a boom-mounted water foam cannon that extends and, if necessary, pierces an aircraft fuselage to deliver water or foam directly inside. Both trucks being replaced were delivered in 2011 and will reach the FAA's minimum useful life of 15 years in 2026. Adding a second high-ret equipped truck will improve tactical firefighting capability, expand water and foam capacity, and provide additional protection as the airport grows and Concourse E comes online. The contract award totals $2.2 million, with funding provided through a combination of Federal Aviation Administration grants, $1.7 million, future Florida Department of Transportation grant funds for $462,000, and the LCPA net revenue cost of only $95,692. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on that?
Yeah, I'm just really curious. What happens to the existing vehicle? What,
They-
do you
they go
get
into
trade-in back?
They go into reserve, so we have them as backups.
Oh, you do?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
very good. Then you utilize them for Page and here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great, thank you.
Where do you house
The fire stations between Page and
the
here.
room in there?
Yes, sir.
Any further questions? Entertain a motion.
I'll move it.
We have the item moved. Second. We have a second. Any discussion from the public on this item? Not seeing any discussion from the public, bring it back to the board. Any further discussion? Not hearing any, I'll call for a vote. All in
Aye.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Next item.
Good afternoon. For the record, Emily Underhill. For item 15, as you may recall, Parsons Transportation Group was recently contracted to provide project support services as an extension of staff to support the Port Authority's management of the Terminal Expansion Phase 1 project. This item, in addition to a full-time project manager that's already been assigned to the project, provides for additional full-time personnel for the following positions: a project controls manager, an office engineer, and an administrator for the implementation and continued maintenance of a new project management information system for the project. The amount of the task is $3,598,826.56 and provides for these services through the remainder of the project, which is estimated to be approximately 38 months.
Any questions?
I have one.
Go ahead.
This contract expires January of 2030. Please tell me you just did that out of abundance of caution.
Yes.
Any additional questions? I'll call for a motion on the item.
I'll move the item.
We got a motion, we have a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion to second. Any public comment on the item? Not seeing any public comment on the item, bring it back to board. Any further discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next.
For item number 16, PGAL was previously selected as the designer to support major expansions to the rental car and parking garage facilities at RSW. This task provides for a full design effort towards the following improvements: terminal access road arrivals, roadway modifications, new rental car service site for 4 branded families at about 20 plus or minus acres, a temporary long-term lot for 2,600 spaces that will be converted to a permanent rental car storage parking area, a new 4th and 5th parking garage levels at 1,150 each for each level, a new 3rd parking garage level on the outer wings of the existing garage, a new quick turnaround area, about 8.5 acres, and ready return facilities. A new elevated pedestrian bridges connecting the parking garage to the terminal building, and abandonment of the existing fuel farm with a new fuel farm, and ultimate decommissioning of the existing rental car service areas located within Skyplex. The design is very complex and will involve extensive construction phasing and operational challenges later during construction. The design and permitting effort is anticipated to be a 22-month effort, and the amount is $15,781,482.
Any questions?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Will this pedestrian walkway be covered?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
hallelujah.
There'll be 3 of them.
Okay, and they'll be shielded from the rain.
Yes.
Yeah. Good, because right now they're not, right?
Right. No, these are separate. Right now, those pedestrian walkways go to the second level of the parking garage. This will be at the third level, connecting the parking garage to the terminal.
So it'll be up above the second level pedestrian?
Say that again, I'm sorry?
So will this pedestrian level?
Yes,
be,
over.
right up
Yes,
above that
yes,
one? So
yes.
that will protect that one.
In a sense, yes.
This next level of parking is going to be covered.
The fourth level will be covered, the fifth will not
Okay.
at this time.
So it's my understanding the rental car company is gonna pay for the one level, and then if we added an additional level, that's a cost that would be borne by us?
I'm not sure, yes, okay. Not sure if that's been fully, yes, okay. We'll pay for the fifth level, I guess.
Okay.
Customer facility charges.
When you see us making a decision about the additional level, because we're probably gonna need it.
We're going to design it as an alternate right now, and I think the decision will be made based on cost estimates at that time of the completion of the design, whether or not we choose to bid it. We may bid it as an alternate.
Okay, great. Any, motion? We got a motion?
Second.
We have a second. Any public comment on this item? Not seeing any public comment. Any additional discussion from the board? Not hearing any. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Next item.
For item number 17, Schenkel Schultz was previously selected as the designer to support a new consolidated maintenance facility supporting storage and maintenance operations at RSW. The new site will be in close proximity to the new public safety building just off Air Cargo Lane by the end of runway 6. This item seeks approval of a professional services agreement and a contract amendment to provide for full design services. The design and permitting effort is anticipated to be approximately 1 year, and the amount is $2,516,917.
Any questions on the item? Not hearing any questions. Call for a motion.
Move the motion.
We got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any public comment on the item? Not hearing any public comment. Any further discussion from any of the board? Not hearing any. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item.
Item 18, this item awards a construction contract to the low bidder, Ajax Paving Industries, in the amount of $1,706,149.75 and establishes a total project budget in the amount of $2,597,807 for the rehabilitation of taxiways A3 and D2 at Page Field.
Any questions on the item? Not hearing any questions. Call for a motion.
Public comment.
Call for a motion on the item.
I move it.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second that too.
We have a second. Any public comment on the item? Not hearing any. We bring it back to the board for a vote. All in favor of the item?
Aye.
Motion carried. And the last item.
Item number 19 is related to the previous. It's a contract amendment with Michael Baker, acting as the engineer of record, to provide construction administration services for the rehabilitation of the taxiways A3 and Delta 2 at Page Field. Contract amendment is in the amount of $145,136.36.
Any questions on the item?
It just kind of bothered me that in the write-up that it was saying they're critical. So how do we let them get to the level of critical? And is being critical going to affect any insurance bonding that is associated?
No, normally what we do is there's a rating called the Pavement Condition Index, or PCI. And when that PCI value reaches a certain minimum or critical level, that's when that pavement is eligible for rehabilitation by the FAA.
Okay.
So
it's
you
kind
do
of
normal,
monitored
you
by
do
them.
normal maintenance for so many years, and then it gets to a point, like any other roadway you see, has to be rehabilitated.
So the FAA kind of has some control of when we address this.
As far as providing funding towards that improvement, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we shouldn't equate critical with the word unsafe.
No, not at all. No.
There's my point. Thank you.
Any additional questions? Not hearing, I call for a motion.
I'll move it.
We have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any public discussion on the item? Not hearing any public discussion, coming back to the board. Any further discussion from the board? Not hearing any. All in favor of the item?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, Emily, and
I'm not quite done yet.
we've got another one.
Two more, right?
So item number 20 is also related to that same project, and it's a contract amendment with Owen Ames Kimball acting as the construction manager to provide construction management and construction engineering inspection services for the rehabilitation of taxiway A3 and D2 at Page Field. And the contract amendment is in the amount of $348,653.
Any questions on the item? Call for a motion on the item. We got a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. Any public discussion on the item? Not hearing any. All in favor of the item?
Aye.
Number 21.
Okay, 21 is also related to those prior items, and it is ratifying the executive director's execution of an agreement with the FAA Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act Airport Infrastructure Grant in the amount of $2,246,623 for the rehab of the two taxiways, as we previously discussed.
Any questions on the item? Not hearing any. Call for a motion on the item. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Got a motion, got a second. Any public discussion on the item? Not hearing any. Bring it back to the board for vote. All in favor of the item?
Aye.
And then 22.
Item 22 is also related to the same project. It's the last piece of funding, and it's seeking acceptance of an FDOT grant in the amount of $112,500 for the rehab of the two taxiways.
Any questions on the item?
I love grants. But this and this, boy, we keep a lot of people employed, don't we?
Yeah, that's right.
Thank
Keep
you.
the money controlled.
I do question, that's just the state's portion, we should get other funding from the FAA, correct?
Well, that was item 22.
No, the previous item was FAA. Yeah, item 21 was FAA. 22 is FDOT.
Any further questions? I'll call for a motion on the item.
So moved.
We have a motion. You have a second. We have a motion, second. Any public comment on the item? Not hearing any public comment. All in favor of the item?
Aye.
Aye. Pass unanimous. Next item.
For item number 23, it's related to the previous administrative agenda item number 14 presented by Steve. It ratifies the executive director's execution of an agreement for an FAA Airport Improvement Program, or AIP grant, in the amount of $1,724,151 for the acquisition of 2 aircraft rescue and firefighting crash vehicles at RSW.
Any questions on the item? Call for motion on the item. I have a motion. I have a second. Any public discussion on the item? Not hearing any. Bring it back for a vote. All in favor of the item?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Next item.
Number 24 is a supplement to the prior agenda item, and this item seeks acceptance of an FDOT grant in the amount of $462,026 in state funding for the acquisition of 2 ARF crash vehicles at RSW.
Any questions on the item? Not hearing any questions, call for a motion.
I'll move it.
We have a motion, we have a second, we have a second. Any public discussion on the item? Not hearing any, all in favor of the item?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Emily. And next item is Executive Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Happy to report that during December, thinking of Christmas already, during July, 720,973 passengers traveled through RSW, which was an increase of 6.5% compared to July of 2024, and the second best July in the 43-year history of RSW. Year-to-date, passenger traffic is down, though, 0.8%, so we are tracking pretty good, and we keep hitting records. The traffic leader in July was Delta with almost 174,000 passengers, and then rounding out the top five was Southwest, American, United, and JetBlue. That's all I have for today.
Thank you very much. Board Attorney,
No items today, thank you.
thank you. Any of the members want to make any comments at this time?
I just read in Florida Trend that millions more are headed to Florida.
Build a garage.
Well, we
I
have
hope
the
y'all saw
airport,
that
we have the
article.
airport for them.
I just have a stupid question, and I should know the answer to this, but obviously when you get an FAA grant, you have grant assurances. Did we get the same grant assurances with FDOT?
FDOT typically has other requirements that you have to follow, but they're similar, not the same, but
But similar,
yes.
same time frame,
It-
20 year?
That I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think they're all different. We can find out for you and get that back to you.
Just a comment, I made 2 trips within the last 6 weeks. It's always good to come home to this airport. It's always good to listen to the chatter from the people that are visiting and to do some comparative shopping when you get to the other airports. And very proud of who we are.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for those comments.
Well, I'm just impressed with the number of new flights we're getting. And I think I read Allegiant's coming here.
Yes, the Legion's coming. They'll be having 3 markets, Des Moines, Appleton, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
So that'll be great for us. It's a new entrant carrier, and again, kind of speaks to the competitive nature of aviation, new entrants, new competition amongst the airlines. It kind of seems to be the theme lately.
Well, I just want to commend the staff for going through all of the construction we're going through and able to mitigate it to the way you have been, and you kept our traffic numbers up. So I'm really impressed with. I've been over to the airport a couple times and I've been amazed at how you keep everything flowing, and especially around all of the construction. So I think you need to be commended for that, you and your staff. Thank you.
I appreciate it, and I think it'd be remiss to say that the staff airport wide has been, I don't want to say enduring, but it's been a little bit noisy around the airport. So kudos to them for sticking through it as well. So a couple years and we'll be
I have a
brand
hard
new
time tracking what's going on. I travel every week somewhere from this airport, and I see something new here, something new there, but I have a hard time tracking it all.
So, Mr. Chair, just real quick. So phase 1, a lot of the work is happening behind the scenes.
Right.
The new temporary checkpoint where the Shula's, the Nathan's Hot Dog used to be, is a wide open space that they're putting in the new temporary checkpoint there. So a lot of ceiling work, duct work going on. There's, if you ask our HR department, they're building a nice metal stairway right outside of their office space. They're doing all of the roof work, taking down some of the old metal that was there, putting up the new metal. The fiber is going on in our baggage claim area. So airport wide, behind the scenes, behind the curtain, if you will, there's a lot of work on phase 1, and phase 2 is extremely visible. I mean, every day it's a new product, and something going up. It's always neat to see. So pretty soon here we'll start the airside work, and so some earth movement. So it'll be hot and heavy here for the foreseeable future.
Great. Well, thank you very much for that update.
It looked like the steel for Concourse E is about all up.
Almost. They're still doing some more. They have some connectors between the existing road and the new building. They'll kind of fill in that gap. Is a little bit of a tight space, so that'll start happening. And then the roadway work, right now, talking about crosswalk 2 is still down. That will get put back up, and then 5 will come down and get put back up, and then that last, the old entrance to the parking garage will come down, and that will all keep flowing. And they're building a huge elevator shaft there to eventually connect to the covered walkway. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
Well, thank you for that. Is there any additional public comment on any other matters related to the airport? Not hearing any.
Well, when are our next meetings?
September.
Well, we have
Pardon?
one in September with the commissioners.
September 4th?
Yes.
I'm just so sad that Boomer's retiring the 23rd, I heard today, so just want to make sure I get to see him one more time.
Gary's gonna come in.
If there's no further business at this time, the meeting is now adjourned.
That's-
Yeah, we'll have to bring in a Boomer.